Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Monday edition of Moohead Radio. I'm your host, the Big and Furry Bovine. Right now with me is Hammer Time, Jim Hammer from Columbus, Ohio. How you doing, Jim?
Doing great today.
Good.
Anytime the Browns don't lose, it's a good day.
Yeah. All fine, thank you. Today is entitled "It's Time to Face the Facts," and I got a couple of things for you that will make you just kind of shake your big cow heads out there and say, maybe Mr. Moohead is actually onto something here, or maybe he's just on something. Whatever the case may be, you decide for yourself. I will start the program with the one great story, which is the singular best story, as I, during the course of the first several weeks of the season, kept drubbing Jedrick Wills for the fact that he was dogging it in his rehab. And, it looked like I was picking on the fat fuck, which I was. And today, Jedrick Wills has stated that he didn't play against the Ravens because he made a business decision not to play. A business decision. B-I-Z-N-E-S-S. Business decision.
So, like buying stock in a company that's folded? Is that what it was?
He sure as fuck hasn't blocked anybody. So, I mean, what business acumen he has might really be questionable. But, and of course, a player can't say something like that because this is his last season. The Browns are not bringing him back. He'll never play in Cleveland again. And now it makes you wonder whether he sabotaged his entire career. But I guess what resonated with this story, besides him being a lazy fat fuck, which I've been saying all along about this guy, he just didn't look like he was ever a motivated guy. It got me to thinking business decisions can really be hazardous for your health. I mean, this is like tantamount to suicide for a player coming out and saying this. That would be like if a football player this coming weekend decided, I'm going to take a knee when they take the national anthem after Trump was elected. There are some, I'm doing this for my conscience, and it's a business decision. Business decisions have been known to make or break people. And that's part of the show today, is facing the facts about what's happening in Cleveland sports. And I'll let you, based on my great persuasive bovine skills, to try to nudge you a little bit in one direction. I see somebody else is joining us, which of course is Bronk. Hi, Bronk. How are you?
Boo.
All right. So here's where it all starts for me. And it's not, I guess it started with Jedrick Wills, but if you're going to say I made a bad business decision that's going to cost me, I'm not going to play anymore in Cleveland and teams aren't going to offer me any kind of money because I made a business decision not to play when I was hurting, that's nothing compared to I'm going to give $230 million to Deshaun Watson, or I'm going to draft Johnny Manziel. All right. Business decisions that are bad don't need to be accepted just because it's a player who's saying this. It makes him stupid. Oh, yeah. But when the person who paid $1 billion for the Cleveland Browns makes these kind of mistakes, I think that even though the press doesn't really want to step out and say anything bad about him because he's part of the boys club, that I thought I would. So I started digging with my hooves because this is what I do, because I'm frustrated. I mean, quite honestly, I'm getting older. I don't work all day. I have plenty of time to think about shit.
And that whole one before I die is getting closer every day.
The death part, not the one. So here's the deal. Here was an article that just kind of went by us without us saying anything about it or anybody really saying very much about it. This is all the way back in May the 8th. If you remember the Milwaukee Bucks, and Adrian Griffin was the head coach who had a great record like David Blatt did, but they decided that he was the wrong guy because Giannis basically did what they do in Invasion of the Body Snatchers and went, makes that horrible noise and points his finger at him, and he got fired. So the idea was we got to hire somebody. And a guy named John Horst, who is the general manager of the Milwaukee Bucks, has done a really, really good job. I mean, he extended Giannis. He brought in Damian Lillard. Before that, he brought in Bobby Portis. I mean, he has a history of bringing quality players into the Milwaukee Bucks. And he was the primary decision maker. Well, he had his eyes on a head coach. Because as soon as you don't fire somebody without having your choice. And his choice was Kenny Atkinson. Juicy, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But here's where the good part begins. Yes, he had an opportunity, but that window was very small because who came in and bought the share up of the Milwaukee Bucks?
Jimmy Haslam Jr.
Jimmy Haslam influenced the Bucks to go with Doc Rivers over Kenny Atkinson. And now they're 2-7. All right.
They could come back.
This guy has the anti-Midas touch. Everything he touches turns to tin. Corroded tin. This guy is a fucking idiot. He's a lousy businessman, just like Jedrick Wills is. It's just before my free agency contract, and I think I'm going to tell the world that I'm not motivated. Well, and here's Jimmy Haslam. Woo! I'm here in Milwaukee, boys. Woo! I know this act doesn't go down very well, but I'm a Southern boy. Woo! And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to fuck you up. Woo! Get Doc Rivers, that mud of a man. Get him in here. Woo! Get him in. He's old. We want him. He's experienced and old. And he won't give me any shit. Woo! Yep. Jimmy
he might even be like equal height to Jimmy too. So that's
single-handedly has turned around the Bucks.
I didn't know it was that bad, but I knew that he and Dio owned part of the Bucks, but I didn't realize they were meddling as well. To that extent.
Well, that's his MO. I mean,
I know. I mean, to give him credit, didn't he win an MLS championship in Columbus?
Yes, he did. He did. He's actually won. He's actually won two out of the last three. Actually,
Did he ever show up to any of the games?
No, he would probably be booed out of the stadium. It's hard to say, but this year we had such a great. That's another story. We'll wait till
that's another story
because there's all kind of MLS fun stuff. But
you're right. Greg's right. They're 2-8 now.
They got a worse record than the Browns do at the moment.
I mean, this is like the goddamn Jerry Lewis telethon total. She keeps going up
and going.
And the L category.
Ding, 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 ding.
It's KB and Schmorpus. How's life in Corpus Christi? I always love a town that's named after dead bodies. I love that place. I looked at radio stations in Corpus Christi, but they were all underwater.
Wow.
This is the kind of humor that
Yeah,
nobody would pay for.
Bring out your A material.
It's tough when you get a snorkel to get to your job in the morning,
Just
right?
hearing crickets out there, man. Just hearing crickets.
Is this on?
So now the word is that John Horst, the general manager, who has brought Milwaukee a title and brought them good fortune, is thinking about maybe moving toward the Pistons.
Which is a nice young team.
Well, it's a nice young team with a bad coach.
Yeah.
But it's too late for him to hire Kenny Atkinson there. Oh, it's too late. Too late. It's too late. So he'll have JB Bickersnatch to go ahead and fuck his day up there. But, I really think that bad business decisions happen all the time. And so what I wanted to do to illustrate these bad business decisions is let's take the San Francisco 49ers, shall we?
Take them
Wherever you want to take them. What was it that led people to believe that Brock Purdy was the real deal? I want to ask people this because I just see an undersized guy with an arm strength who makes Brian Sipe look like he had a cannon.
You're just saying that because he was the last pick of the draft, right? It's that every single team with every single one of their draft picks passed on this guy.
Right.
So, I don't know how,
Can they all be wrong?
He could be the next Tom Brady. Yeah, that's a one lottery ticket in a lifetime. Come on. But
and made for good. It made for a good story.
Yes.
But, I mean, take a look at what's happening in the league.
What's happening in the league?
And I don't like to bury people prematurely because anything can happen. But the owner's wife in Houston shot her mouth off about the Browns, and now her Texans are 6-4. All right, that's barely above 500, folks.
And basically snatched defeat from the jaws of victory, just like the Browns usually do. Yesterday.
And it's been happening to them recently. And as teams have figured out what their offense is, they're keeping them out of the end zone. They're kicking some field goals.
Yeah, but I think they're going to be better when Nico gets back, if he does here sometime.
Well, of course.
Yeah. I mean, they've
had injuries.
He's actually probably the best receiver out there. Stat wise, he's actually better than Chase. He's better than Jefferson. I mean, the guy's pretty incredible. And then that's going to balance with Michi and Tank. And I mean, I think that'll do pretty well. But their problem is they got guys basically running through the line like a sieve.
Oh yeah. CJ Stroud is under a lot of pressure. And who's shooting his mouth off but Joe Mixon? And you knew that Joe Mixon and his 3.8 yard per carry average would eventually get into the equation because he's an assault guy. He's a bad guy. He's a guy who's been a head case since he came into the league. But what I'm saying is nothing is carved in stone. When there's film on you, you have to keep evolving and keep getting better. And CJ Stroud is a fine young quarterback, and I hold no grudge to the fact that he kicked our ass last year than anybody could have. And that he was an Ohio State guy. I have no negatives to say about him, except the team.
I'd trade for him right now.
Oh yeah, the team around him though. Maybe they started celebrating too early, and it takes a while to get over a hump. And winning games that are eminently winnable on your home field and losing that way is not the way to make the home team feel, the fans feel really good.
Yeah,
it's not easy.
Dominate a team in the first half and don't score in the second half.
Right.
And actually, probably the best part about that was, I don't know if you watched when they came back from halftime, and they're talking to coach from the Lions. They're doing the sideline reporters talking. He says, "Well, we just got to get some turnovers immediately." Immediately, CJ throws a pick. It was like, it was so. I don't think you could script it any better. It was just Dan Campbell. That's what. Yeah.
Dan Campbell.
The theme of today's show is time to face the facts. And there's a lot of teams who need to face the facts, not just the Cleveland Browns. Although we're in Cleveland, and so we basically recognize that it's a problem. For example, so if he can take down the Bucks in one big, bad, negative move when he takes over as a partial owner of the team and gets his stupid Southern ass in the door and starts shouting at people like he does, his whole slime is all over the Browns organization. And yes, the Browns are as bad as their record is, but there are many other teams who have really incredibly bad records and are really bad teams as well. The reason I brought up Brock Purdy, because Deebo Samuel had seen enough of everything. A kicker who missed 3 field goals, and Brock Purdy throwing the ball short by a yard into the ground to receivers. And that led, after the third miss by Moody, the kicker, to a scuffle on the sidelines that was instigated by Deebo Samuel, who was sick and tired of not getting 7 points, but settling for 3 and then missing the field goals. Turns out that Moody was their salvation in the end, as they gave up a late field goal to the Texans, who couldn't get the first downs necessary to get the ball in the end zone. And when you don't do that, you leave yourself open for the other, and that's what happened. They tied the game, and then they proceeded to let Moody squeeze one through the right side of the uprights and get the win. And there they are fighting on the sideline. CD Lamb, the wide receiver for the Cowboys, has come to the conclusion that they need to put up curtains.
We're going to get to this. It's curtains for you, CD.
I mean, you know what it's like? It's like Martha fucking Stewart. Curtains, they're a good thing. I mean, it's like, when do people face the fact? You know, they think that putting up, I'm going to put up curtains. All the problems that have been happening to the Cowboys, choking late in the season after season, Dak Prescott not ever performing, getting hurt, not having proper backup people, and not scaring anybody, and having a senile old owner who still thinks he's drilling for oil and does the Jed Clampett dance. I mean, what else is there to know about the Dallas Cowboys except they suck? Their fan base has to know they suck. They have an owner who's too old to be doing what he's doing, and left to his own devices will fuck everything up.
He's players
Yeah, I was going to say, isn't Haslam basically a less funded version of
a less
Jerry?
Toxic version? Almost.
It's like,
that's right.
It's the same kind of thing. They both want to get their little paws in there, and kind of like Mr. Burns. And yes, sir, we're gonna fuck around with the lineup this week. You know.
He was white Jesus, DeAndre. This is so that you understand how it works.
Yo, mama.
Joe Burrow is white Jesus.
Oh wow!
All right, just so you know how it goes. Joe Burrow thought he was so good he could dye his fucking hair, and he could, what he reminds me of? He reminds me of fucking Vanilla Ice, and it's like, get the fuck out of here. There's no authenticity here.
I'm thinking, I thought he was MGK to a certain extent as well. So
I was. Let me tell you, I was really bad, really, really. I'm from the mean streets of Athens, Ohio. I'll tell you.
Yeah, it's rough down there.
Oh yeah. You could take a shank any minute out there. I'm the real deal. At any rate,
Make it
yeah.
stop.
So you
And
got
actually,
Jerry
that's
Jones.
kind of funny because sports radio here in Columbus has just been kind of brutalizing the Bengals right now for blowing it, for saying, they got to the Super Bowl, was it 3-4 years ago, whatever, and they're like,
Correct.
this team is about to implode,
Dynasty.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like they were thinking. It's kind of like the Dolphins when Marino went to the Super Bowl, and it's kind of that same feeling here. It's like that feeling of dread. You can just feel it anytime you go to a sports bar and you see somebody with a Bengals thing, and you're like, "How about them Bengals?" And they're like, "Yeah, shit, yeah."
No.
I mean, they can't say anything to hurt me. I've been hurt too many times already. I'm a Cleveland fan.
How about this? This is what you call the backhand slap in the face to the organization. Instead of saying, I'm making a business decision not to play, you have pass rusher Micah Parsons, after the Cowboys dropped to 3-6, was asked what he would tell people wondering whether Mike McCarthy would be the head coach in 2025. That's above my pay grade, he said. All coaching aside, Mike can leave and go where he wants to go. Guys I kind of feel bad for are guys like Zach Martin and guys who might be on their last years and on their way out, because that's who I wanted to hold the trophy with. It's like, so in one sentence,
Wow.
he's basically said there ain't going to be no trophy during Zach Martin's time and any of the veterans' time. It's like, ain't going to happen now, motherfucker. Ain't going to happen now. I'll be holding it, but I won't be holding it in Dallas because I have an opt-out. And you see what's going to happen? I'm Micah Parsons in the prime of my career. You're Zach Martin. You're fucking stuck here. And that's the way it works.
Yeah.
I mean, these are the kind of messages.
I wonder if there's a line in Britain on Micah Parsons going to the Chiefs after this contract.
Well, either that or the Lions, one or the other.
Such positivity.
That's the thing though about the Lions. How can you not feel that? Is that not a feel good kind of thing? I know there are Lake Erie brothers, okay, along with Buffalo. Why do we have to be the sucky team in the middle with the two bookends on Lake Erie? But it's just that kind of thing. It's like it's kind of cool to watch, and it's just they're a fun team to watch. Even losing Hutchinson, who is a beast out there, but jeez.
Now
we are doomed. We've been doomed.
Who was the guy in the late 80s, early 90s who was the uplifting guy, Tony Robbins? Was that his name?
Oh yeah, he was.
Yeah.
He would be like, and all buff. I can't do that because I have no muscle. Musculature. But
Micah Parsons is the anti Tony Robbins because he just brought the entire locker room down.
Yeah, we suck, but that's okay because I'm still.
He threw the hammer down. There's everybody now who's ready to be depressed, going to slash their wrists, and oh my God, I'm in Dallas. I'm 35 years old. I'm in Dallas.
They got good barbecue, though, I guess.
Yeah, but again, it's time to face the facts in Dallas. Oh, but there's more. There's more. You thought it was going to be easy in Oklahoma City because you had Chet Holmgren? And the young guy just smashed his pelvic bone.
Oh,
yeah.
That don't sound
One
good.
fall, pelvic fracture. He's gone for indeterminate amount of time, and we'll see how the Thunder hang in without him. But at least they're off to a good start. The Bears, meanwhile, facing the facts a different way. When the head coach has to come up in front of everybody and say, Caleb Williams is still going to be our starter, it's like,
Yeah.
my God, they just drafted him. For God's sakes, he's a rookie. I don't know what to tell you. The Bears have fucked everything up. And when the coach is Eberflus, who won't be the coach next year. If you're a Bears fan, you got to face the facts. You don't know a quarterback to save your soul. Justin Fields is sitting on his ass behind a 35-year-old guy. And now you got Caleb Williams. Now you got Caleb Williams. And you're talking about, well, maybe we should sit him for a while.
Did they not see him in college the last 2 years when he got all crybaby about the fact that his defense was porous as, a sham wow? And there he is, and he's like, yeah, I'm doing everything I can, putting up 49 points a day. But I saw bust over that the whole time. But hey, whatever. I'm also a Justin Fields fan, but I don't think Fields is ever going to do anything. Although, you know what? He's probably going to be on the Browns next year. You do realize that, right?
Daniel Jones is going to be
that could be it too. Could be Daniel Jones. Yeah.
Oh God, you got to get to the New York teams.
Oh no, we got to do the whole damn state of Florida. That's what we got to talk about. If the Dolphins can tank it tonight, and they're 2-6 and a 2.5 point dog, if they can tank it, the entire state of Florida lost this weekend. Every single team in Florida, college football, every single freaking Division I team, basketball, the Heat got blown. The hockey teams all lost. The freaking Miami, whatever, Inter Miami or whatever. And
Inter Miami got knocked out.
They got freaking knocked out in the first round of the damn tournament. I'm like, all the Rams got to do is win this game, and the entire state of Florida is down. I'm like, this is a beautiful, beautiful thing. I cannot. Wow. I'm like, I don't normally a game like this I would flex my ass out of it and not watch this and find something to watch on Netflix. But tonight I will be watching this game and actively rooting for the Rams just to make the I don't know what it is. You could not bet enough money on that to happen. Well, it's beautiful.
Let me explain again why it's Face the Facts show. All right. Browns fans, you're just as dumb as the rest of the fan bases around the country who just don't seem to get it. So I'm going to tell you something. Just between us guys, Pittsburgh Steelers are for real.
Yeah,
they're for real. And the reason they're for real is they're a 100 times better organization than the Browns. I know you don't want to hear that, but you got to face the facts. It's all based in results. Yes, they played Ben Roethlisberger too long. If that were the Browns organization, they would have gotten in their own way and they would have prolonged the agony. But, the Steelers have a way of moving swiftly, getting the right talent, drafting the right players for the schemes that they use, and figuring out, 35-year-old quarterback, but maybe he can give us a little goodness before we figure out who the next Ben Roethlisberger is going to be or the next Terry Bradshaw is going to be, which invariably they'll get because they find the right people. They always find the right linebackers. They always find the right defensive secondary players. Even Najee Harris is running the ball from scrimmage, for Christ's sake. You have to admit the truth. They're a much better organization than the Browns. They always will be as long as Jimmy Haslam is in Cleveland. Yep. If you're not ready to face the facts, you might just shut this thing off right now. But I'm not a Steelers fan. I don't like them. But you have to be able to recognize the truth when it's in your face. Here's the next thing, Browns fans. Because I'm talking about teams that don't seem to realize who think they need to put up curtains and a dome to be able to not lose the ball in the sun so they stop dropping passes. All right? There's the other side of this, too. You've got to stop with the Baker Mayfield shit. Baker was 18 of 29 for 116
yards. I saw that.
And he was checking down
That was only 116 more than Bronk had this weekend.
That's
Exactly.
right.
I mean, his longest pass play was 15 yards. I saw the stats on that. I was just like giggling away to myself when I saw that, like a little schoolgirl.
You know something? I watched the game. I was going back and forth and watching Baker dump the ball off. They told him to dump the ball off quick because he's throwing too many goddamn interceptions down the field. The fact of the matter is that he's 4-6 again.
He'll be about
4-6 naturally.
He'll go on a little run here, and all the Baker bros will be all fired up again, and then he'll go back and start throwing the interceptions again.
And see, this is almost like a reflexive response from the Browns fans because you're in denial and you're not ready to face the facts. Did you ever think that maybe the reason the refs like the Pittsburgh Steelers is that they're winners and that people tend to gravitate toward winners and that by winning consistently, you get the benefit of the doubt? Could that be it? I mean, Bob, I'm just saying, you know,
I don't know.
and Ron Leffman jumps in. They're getting all the ref calls. They're allowed to cripple and make, and cripple their opponent.
Maim, I think he means make their opponents sounds nasty.
Yeah, they bend them over and fuck them in the ass, and they let them do it.
Ass rape. Woo!
All right.
Well, speaking of good teams and stuff, the other story of the weekend was Patrick Mahomes caught on a hot mic asking the ref, "Hey, can you tell me when he starts getting close to me on the defenders?" That's like, there you go.
Yeah,
they're all getting all the ref calls.
and the fact that they're allowed to cripple and maim their opponents, it's the way to win. You don't understand. The guy makes a sensible business decision not to play because he wants to walk later in life, and Jedrick Wills will never play again. You see, you might as well make hay while the sun shines. You make your money and you cripple people and you shorten people's careers and you take cheap shots. It's what works for the Steelers. It's what works for them. Don't question it. They're a great organization. The Browns never have anybody who does anything like that because the Browns are a weak organization, and that's why we don't get any play in the press whatsoever for football, because the team is a fucking joke. And the Steelers are the real deal when they were expected to be the doormat in the division, and here they are.
And they're right there, yeah. I mean, they're going to be battling for potential home field, and they're right there with the Bills. So
amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, again, face the facts. Do you think at this point Aaron Rodgers is like, I don't think that laying in a dark room for 60 days is really going to help me here, or drinking cayenne juice is going to give me the fountain of youth, or damn Jeopardy for not giving me the fucking job. Damn them. He went to Woody Johnsonville.
Oh, there's another great owner.
But you see, there are many teams in the NFL that are bad. And the Browns are one of them. And the Jets are another. And there is no saving them. They bring these people in. It's like, well, the ghost of Aaron Rodgers at 40 years of age is going to turn things around. 3 snaps and he's out the entire last season. Think, but he's coming back this year and we're going to be better than ever. But you know what we're going to do? We're going to fire our head coach for no apparent reason and bring in a guy who is so inept that the only thing that he can say is that he has a mouthful of Woody Johnson's Johnson. Okay.
Wow.
That's the only reason the guy's a head coach. He's horrible. He's horrible.
He makes Pat Sherber look like a Hall of Fame coach, doesn't he?
Yeah. 1-4 since he got in there. And Saleh was 2-3. And the defense was actually performing. And, we're going to turn it around with Aaron Rodgers or substitute with Deshaun Watson or substitute it with all these, Joe Flacco. There's another
Joe
one.
Flacco, the Colts.
You see what that is? That's how many interceptions he threw yesterday, you dumb fucks. You will not accept the truth. And I'm going to force feed it down your throat. And here, I will announce it. Hear ye, hear ye. Wait, I got to do this.
You got the gong of truth there, don't you?
It's like here.
Get the gong of truth going.
Hear ye, hear ye. Joe Flacco is old and throws interceptions still. I don't know. What are you looking at, folks? What are you watching?
Yeah, but this sets up a great game this Sunday. And I think they may flex this to the Sunday night game because the Jets play the Colts on Sunday.
Wow.
That somebody's got to win.
Match.
Yeah,
somebody's got to win.
Somebody's always got to go. Let's see, Dad. How can I remotely believe that Baker wouldn't be an improvement to our offense? Because he hasn't been an improvement to anybody's offense. You stupid fuck. I mean, if you want to live delusionally, you can live delusionally. It's fine. You're obviously a recreational or more serious drug user because you don't want to face reality. But the bottom line is, Aaron Rodgers realizes now that, God, I thought I was going to do something big in New York because it would be publicized, and it's going to be publicized. All right. Unbelievable. 31-6 to the Cardinals. He made Tyler Murray. He made him look like mighty midget.
Well, Kyler was like, at one point in time, I guess he set the team record for consecutive completions during that game.
Wow.
Yeah. They made him look like he was the greatest of all time. I'm sorry, I said Tyler. It's Kyler. But what difference does it make?
It's the same sort of name. Yeah.
No, he doesn't know his name. He's had so many concussions. So what difference does it make?
Oh, damn.
Wow.
Brutal. It's funny because it's true.
It's brutal.
Now, the Ravens beating the Bengals 35-34.
Oh, that was
when are Cincinnati fans going to understand? Here's the way it works. Let me explain it to you because it's Face the Facts Monday. You got the ball. I'll do this like Casey Kasem for you, so it'll sound really incredibly simple. You have the ball and you're moving down the field. I'm Casey Kasem. You've got a great quarterback. You've got great receivers. You've got T. Higgins and you've got Chase. You throw the ball to one of the other guys, and a raven is draped all over his back on fourth down. And the referees turn their backs and don't call anything.
Wow.
When are you going to realize you had a Cleveland moment, Cincinnati? You thought, we're far enough from Cleveland. We're not going to get lumped in with the mistake by the lake. Oh, no. Ohio is Ohio. You know what's south of you? A bunch of fentanyl makers and a bunch of goddamn fucking hillbillies. That's what's below you.
North too, but I think it was because Cleveland wasn't playing this weekend that they had to.
There was a vacuum in the universe.
It had to be someone.
And all the sucking had to move right down I-71.
Yeah, they had to fill the vacuum.
Even though they didn't play there. But
I was watching and I saw the play and I was laughing. And it's like, there's a pecking order, folks. And until you're willing to face the facts.
Yeah, you have two wide receivers that have been Pro Bowlers. You're going to throw it to the other guy. Okay. Yeah, it's a great idea. It's like LeBron passing up the last shot or whatever, or Jordan passing up the last shot. Come on, man. Take the damn shot.
Face the fucking facts, man. I mean, you're Cincinnati. You've had your chance at the big one and you blow it every time, and your head coach is a douchebag. Zach Taylor couldn't win his way out of a paper bag. The guy's awful. I told you that years ago that he would be the destruction. But with the Brown family, there's always a destruction. Don't you see the similarities? Bad business people make bad business decisions. And it happens all the time. All the time. So walk away from this show with the sense to realize that the reason that that the Browns suck has nothing to do with Cleveland and the city itself. It has to do with the ownership and how they run their business. Because what I'm going to tell you next is really going to bother you. Who is the greatest owner in the history of Cleveland sports? Who's the greatest owner?
Well, apparently Art Modell's scheduled to be in the Hall of Fame nominations this time
Again, yeah, he's been there quite a few times, but I don't know, Mickey McBride maybe. I mean, we're going back to the 40s here.
Come
Bill
on,
Beck.
Chat room. Here's your chance to be heard.
Bill Beck.
Who is the greatest? Look, here we go.
Well, Modell won a championship in '64.
Look,
he did.
Arthur Mickey McBride though, won quite a few of them. Yeah.
And Gordon Gund? Are you kidding me?
He's blind.
Gordon Gund. I mean, he was given charity by the NBA. I mean, they had to do something after Ted Stepien fucked the organization up, so they just gave him a gazillion draft picks and rebuilt the franchise for him.
Do you want me to give the real answer?
Yeah.
Dan Gilbert.
That is correct. There you go, Amsterdam. That's right.
Yeah.
No question.
Dan Gilbert.
And let me explain to you why. You
Tell
got a
me why.
championship. A legitimate, real NBA championship, not a 1964 beat the Baltimore Colts championship, but a real
trophy and
God,
everything.
Yep, the whole deal.
And uniforms and everything. Is that where you're going?
Uniforms and everything.
And we beat the best team on their home
absolutely.
court. Okay,
Dynasty.
real.
When we were
champ.
down 3-1.
Yep.
We can't leave that part out.
Yep, real championship. All right. Yep. But then, as things happen, somebody took his talents to South Beach, and the team was terrible. And so they dug back down and they started getting the Dion Waiters of the world. Then Kyrie Irving, was a great draft, and started trying to rebuild this team. Right. And it was tough to watch. I'll be honest with you. But each year they got a little better. And then LeBron makes his return to Cleveland, and they go out and they get Kevin Love, and they end up winning the championship. And then LeBron decides to take his family to Beverly Hills, and
as you do,
he earned it.
Yeah, why not?
And he decided to bone Miss Hathaway. Which
is hot. God damn it.
If you're into the olive oil looking people, yeah. It's got a figure like olive oil.
So he rebuilds the team again.
He did.
And fearlessly spending money in this organization. And sure enough, we start getting young players. Look at them. Darius Garland and Evan Mobley. And then we get Donovan Mitchell away from Utah.
A legit all-star.
Yep, a legit guy.
3 magic beans. That's we gave them 3 magic beans.
We traded the cow for it.
And then look at the decisions that have been made of who they brought in around them, with the exception of J.B. Bickerstaff. You eliminate him from the equation, and now suddenly we were saying to ourselves, what is it? What favor did somebody do, for the families of some of these people who were players? Like, why Ty Jerome? Why? And, 2 minutes into the season last year, he was gone for the whole season. Guy looks like he's slower than molasses. And then Sam Merrill. It's like Sam Merrill Sam Merrill was on a mission until he was 42 years old. And I don't mean a mission from God. I mean, he was on a mission. And he comes back and nobody wants him. He's bumming around in the G League, and they give him a guaranteed. And they said, well, there is a closeness there between the general manager and the family. And it's like, I don't want to hear that. No, but you start looking at these guys. Ty Jerome.
It's not like a closeness family thing like the Fritz Peterson thing, is it? No. Okay. I just want to make sure. We're not going to be trading wives here or nothing, right?
We're playing the Chicago Bulls tonight, and their leading steelmeister is Kobe White, and he averages 1.3 steals per game, right? And he plays 33 minutes a game. Ty Jerome is playing 16 minutes a game and averages more steals.
Yeah.
So he's been participating in a way of scoring, stealing, assisting, doing everything that could be asked of him. And Sam Merrill has become not only a radar shooter from the perimeter, but he's playing defense and drawing charges and doing all kinds of things. And now all of a sudden, it's like these players, with the exception of George Niang, who's still a fat Neanderthal, but everybody else,
leave him alone.
He is. I'm sorry.
Don't get on Yang.
Yang.
But you look at the other players and how they're contributing, and it's like Karis LeVert looks like he's reborn.
Yeah.
It's like JB's out of here. Woo! Yeah.
I think the key though is let's knock on something wooden, but let's stay healthy. And it's a long season.
We're still not getting the referee calls.
No.
I don't know how. I think the last game that was played was the only one that the Cavs had less fouls than the other team.
Well, and this last game, man, I mean, they were the Nets really outplayed them. And
I gave up on it. In the third quarter. I thought there's no way Cavs were going to come back.
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't give up on this team.
I know.
That makes you an ass.
He learned his lesson now.
Yeah, well, leave me alone.
Well,
of course. What time was it when you gave?
It was about fucking 2:30 in the morning. So give me a break.
All of these players are, coming together, and they have a tough night. And fortunately, Brooklyn had played an overtime game the night before too, so they were both on back-to-backs. And the wheels came off Brooklyn. And I'd like to tell you that it was because they were just tired. But no, they don't know how to win. You look at the first three quarters of that basketball game, and then you take a look at the fourth quarter, and I did. I watched the game twice. And it's like they were just holding on to the ball. And it was like they were trying to run the clock out. I mean,
wow.
They had it right in the palm of their hands, and they didn't know what to do with it. But the Cavaliers sure as hell knew what to do with it. And when they needed the stops, they got the stops. When they needed the shots, they got the shots. And it wasn't Donovan Mitchell. It's Darius Garland. It's Ty Jerome. It's Evan Mobley, who had 20 points, 23 points, and like 12 rebounds. It is a group effort. This is a good team. And Dan Gilbert fits in the middle of it all. And I just can't help but thinking what his late son says, what's not to like? What's not to like, Cleveland fans, about the Cleveland Cavaliers? They may not win a championship, and teams may not, the media may not hold them in the highest esteem and all that. But God, they're fun to watch. And they are playing together, and they're excited to be out there. And Evan Mobley is so improved as a player, and it's because good decision-making yields good results. And here the Cavaliers are coming back for yet another playoff year. And you look at how many times Dan Gilbert's teams have made the playoffs. He's the greatest owner in the history of Cleveland.
Oh, easily. The amazing thing is is that the New Yorker magazine a day ago actually published an article titled "The Cleveland Cavaliers Are Dialed In," and this
Wow.
writer says about watching this fun, young, undefeated team and the sense of possibility they project. That's in the New Yorker magazine.
Well, it's because their entire life he's had to watch the Knicks.
No, I think
I
it's,
mean, it's
I
like
think it's actually a young.
they haven't
lady.
been whatever. They haven't been good since we were in college, Bronk.
I was
Will
asking a
Reed.
friend, Richard, the very same question. Whose
George
minutes will
Niang.
Strus take? Niang has to be
Niang.
probably the one that stands out most, because the thing about Maxey is that he will throw up threes, but he is motion personified, and this is such a motion offense that Strus will be the kind of guy. You have a Coro who is a guy who will give you real defensive minutes. You can move him onto different men. Niang doesn't give you rebounding. He doesn't give you speed. He doesn't give you defense. He's not shooting that well from the floor. So I would say Strus will take those minutes up. And, but Kenny Atkinson's not at a loss as far as dividing minutes up. And that's what's really kind of fun to watch. And you're right, Richard. Jared Allen had a game that was a throwback game and in a bad way. He just did not look like he was being assertive or aggressive. He was being timid, and there ain't no room for that. And he better get his head screwed on straight, because he just didn't look like he was really going at it as hard as he should have been.
Yeah.
And,
But I think they've had a bit of flu in the camp, too, though. A couple guys were sick. Dean Wade was sick, wasn't he, one time?
I don't know. That may be true, because he just looked depleted out there. He just,
Darius Garland was yakking during one of the games as well.
Missing layups and missing dunks and clear open in the basket and leaving the ball short from everywhere and not rebounding. And, it was, so tonight's opponent, the Chicago Bulls, should be getting Zach LaVine back, which is good news for them, because that's 22 points a night. He's played in 7 out of their 10 games. They got Nick Vucevic. We've got used to seeing him year after year in Orlando. A good shooting outside guy. He's a big body in the paint, and he's the kind of guy who might give Evan Mobley some problems, because he'll move him around. He's a physical guy down low, and he shoots about 42% from 3 points. So Vucevic and LaVine are the two guys, 22 and 21 points a night. Colby White, who is 33 minutes played, 19.4. He's jacking up a lot of threes. He's throwing up like 9 threes a night, but he's only hitting about 30 some odd percent of them, 37.8% from behind the arc. They got Josh Giddey, who likes young girls, from Oklahoma City. He's doing nice work for them, 13.5 points per game, and he's got 7 assists out there. So, and he's shooting better from behind the arc. He's up around 40% there. So this is a team that loves to go up and down the floor. They're scoring 114 points a game. They're giving up over 120. They're 4-6 this season. So that's who the opponent is. 8:00 tonight.
The whole East is all within a couple games outside of Cleveland and Boston. I mean, everybody's within.
Well, everybody's under 500 except for Cleveland and Boston.
Yeah, Pacers are 500 exactly with the win the other day. So but everybody else, entire conference.
It's a shit conference.
And now for me to do a mea culpa at the end of the program.
No, not you. Not you.
Me.
You're not facing the truth.
Our signal is diminishing up. I don't know. I've been having all kinds of little funky internet issues here with Spectrum. I'm not sure what's going on.
Do you need some hoof repair? I've been watching those videos on TikTok or whatever with the hoof repair for cows.
Hoof repair.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Put the little block on there. They go in there and carve your hoof out and get the little
get all the mashed in cow pad out.
All right.
You're like, he's like banned.
Darius
Where were you
Garland.
going with that?
Darius Garland has earned the Eastern Conference Player of the Week. Good for him. And this is my mea culpa. I was hard on this young man last year.
You were.
And God only knows with the broken jaw. And I didn't feel that he physically was working hard enough and building up enough strength to be a force in the NBA. And that he was getting pushed around quite a bit, especially when he came back because he was depleted. This year, he's come back with a vengeance. And although I still think he has slightly loose handles sometimes, the bottom line is he's taking it upon himself to take and make big shots in games. And he's doing something that I like so much better now that he was doing a couple of years ago, and he stopped doing it. He was making like this General Sherman charge to the rim, and that's a historical reference. And
Yes.
Georgia, and he's
burning
not big
everything
enough,
in its wake.
Not big enough to finish. But this year he's pulling up with the
Pulling
floater,
up and shooting that 15-footer.
That and the floater, and hitting great percentages in the field and extending the floor with the 3-point shots. And he's finding open men on the floor, and he's not hesitating when he's shooting. His shot looks proper, not sloppy like it did last year. And his head's in the game. I would swear to God that when he saw JB Bickerstaff leaving town, things got better in a big furry hurry. But my mea culpa is I badmouth Darius Garland, and I live to tell you I was wrong.
Are you sorry? Are you genuinely sorry?
Yeah, I mean, these guys don't need to hear this shit from me or from anyone else, really. You never know exactly what's going on. But it was a tough last year, and the bodies were broken down and the spirits were broken down of a lot of players. And this quick start, it's not going to be something that's going to go on forever, folks. But enjoy it while it is happening.
Not going to go 82-0.
No.
Yeah, I mean, the good times, there's good times and there's tough times. It's going to hit every team at some time or another. Injuries or whatever, this is what can happen. But these guys came out ready to play this year. They're off season. They got serious. Mobley got serious. Garland got serious. They got their heads screwed on straight, and they're playing. And Karis LeVert is playing at a level above what he had played for previously. And we know that his agent had trouble, as did Donovan Mitchell, same person, with the minutes that were being forced upon them by JB Bickerstaff. It's all good. And put your spirit behind the Cavaliers and understand that, building a dome for a schmuck, for a guy who doesn't give a fuck about you, who's there to take your money, and he's a thief, and he's stupid and a bad businessman. Why don't you reward the guy who came up from down from Quicken Loans, down from Michigan? And again, my past with Dan Gilbert, I found him to be a very abrasive fellow. All right.
Oh yeah,
but
he's not faultless.
I don't have to love him. The fact is, as a business person, he's brought prosperity to NBA basketball in Cleveland, and that's what we talk about is sports. And when we have a dolt like Jimmy Haslam fucking this up and Milwaukee Bucks up, we should be talking up teams that present competitive teams year in, year out. And when they say they're going to rebuild, they rebuild.
Yeah.
What do you know?
Who could
what
fuck up the Milwaukee Bucks other than Jimmy Haslam? I mean, that's hard to do, It's amazing.
I will say, though, when you talk about the best owners, I mean, with Nick Maletti and Ted Stepien in the process, and all the knuckleheads owning the tribe, and Art Modell, basically Satan personified. It really doesn't take a lot to get to the top of that list, I don't think. But he definitely has been a great owner. I mean, certainly done what he can. And even when the first time when LeBron was here before he left, he tried. He's throwing. The Guns had they tried to do stuff, and Gilbert took. There was attempts to do things. So, but they certainly have tried to do stuff.
Yeah, and the arena's a nice arena. It's the same. It's older than the Cleveland Stadium is. And
but they redid. They did
they redid
a revamp on it. Yeah. So,
all right, it's time to finish up. It's after 6. Game starts at 8. I got to make my dinner. And
what are you having?
What am I having?
What
do I always eat? I eat salads.
Wow.
Hey. No, I eat salads because.
What else would a cow have? Come on.
Hey.
Hey,
that's what you eat. Hey.
Why do I do it? Just cud.
Yeah.
Cuz. I'm sorry. That's
Chud.
But thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks Hammer Time. Thank you Moose. Thank you everybody in the chat room. We'll be back on Friday. We'll be talking about how much the Browns are going to lose by and what excuses they're going to come up with afterwards.
Yeah, they're whatever they have the Saints, so they're going to be on the other channel. Not
thank God.
Yeah, they're on Fox.
But they haven't been flexed to international TV then, so I don't have to worry about it.
No, I think you're good there for the rest of the year. I think.
All right, guys, time to go. And I appreciate everybody, and we will see you
at the
end of the week. Until next time, shut the fuck up, and hasta la vista, Pastor Heads. Good night.